unconditional love for them just by being themselves. And they're like, well, yeah, of course. I'm like, well, that's unconditional love. You ask for a definition. For me, it's just my awareness of what's happening, because it is, like I said, for my experiences, unless you have your own or you die as we perceive it, the love. Every time I unify with the oneness, my soul feels full. I feel like the best mood, the best meal you've ever had. And I always share the fact that when I'm in that unification of oneness, that it is a huge dynamic of expression. Because when for me, I realized that love allows everything to be. That's why good, bad, happy, sad all exist on just even this one planet. Because I share the fact that more than likely there are people on top of the hill with everything and everyone, and people in the street with nothing and alone and anywhere in between.
Did you just see that little thing that came up and said record?
Jesus, that was what I didn't read it, but it was right across your big head.
Yeah, that was something I clicked on the beginning of the show. It just keyed in now.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Skype is not doing good.
Well, and apparently they're changing. They're closing and not doing anything. And so it's interesting that even though I think that you didn't have to necessarily pay to be on there, it was free to humanity, in this case, the connections of communication.
You know
And
who
so,
uses this? Wait a minute. You know who uses this? All the news people, all the news shows and everything else in it. They all, NBC, ABC, CBS, they all use Skype.
isn't that interesting?
Yeah, I want to know what are they going to use? The other thing in it that I was going to say too in it with this is like that thing just keyed on. I just saw it go for a record, which is 30 minutes late.
Yeah.
I clicked on it.
Yeah, right. That lately it's been just oddball, really weird things like
all over the place.
I bet. Well, and what you do, you deal with that all the time.
Well, one of the things in that I want to tell everybody, and if they're listening to it right now, which I know a couple of people that were going to call in, not call in, but listen from their cars, from what they do. This is also the recording that goes into my system. So therefore, anybody that wants to hear the vocal part, just the audio part of it, we've got it right from the beginning. So Skype is the only one that screwed up the pictures. That's the way it goes.
And so, as we were talking about earlier, there's apparently other potential opportunities of other companies, kind of like Skype, that are being offered. Hey, Skype is closing in May, and there's another aspect, another company that apparently might be along the lines of what Skype does. I have not checked that out, but
Microsoft is killing me. I mean, every day I've got like 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, things from them. Pyramid One radio network, and then it goes to this, and it goes to that, and it goes to the what's this WKIT. I mean, it goes crazy, and you got to use this. You got to bring this over to this, and oh man, so I'm going crazy. So I guess what they're doing is they're making me pay by screwing up my Skype.
Like, hey, they're good, and they're consistent.
They're doing a good job at it too, but I just kind of. Hey, when the music was on, I put it on. So,
and you're like me, is what are they looking for so that we can work within those parameters or beyond them, depending on what it is, so that it's better not only for the listeners but for us as well, and the ability through other avenues that if we don't choose to connect with the other company that's being offered by Skype, then we'll be on Zoom or whatever the case is, and still have the connection of communication. Because things are very interesting to me that maybe some people don't necessarily question, and that is, what if the technology is at an advancement point for Apple intelligence, kind of the iPhone thing? And isn't it interesting that all of the iPhones have been gifted? Bring in your old phones and we'll give you a new whatever, that kind of thing. I will just say it's very interesting, but I have an iPhone 16, and it's very interesting because I don't type anything, but I'll be talking with another person, and all of a sudden there's a bunch of advertisement for that very subject of what
Right.
was
They're
talking about.
listening
Didn't
to
say
you.
yeah. So that effortless freedom to go, hey, here you go, trade in the old. What if that's the old way of communication into the new way of Apple Intelligence, AI? What a convenient, oh, really, isn't it?
I get on. I have Outlook that I use for all the email accounts and that are on there. I use Google for one, but that's it. I can't Google and me. Yeah, we're not exactly friends,
They,
but
yeah,
by Microsoft, we ain't friends either. But I mean, I can stand it. But now it's getting a little crazy because they got this chat bot that comes on it. I go on my mails, and all of a sudden there's this chat bot thing that says, "Well, we can help you with this," and blah blah blah. How do they know what they're going to help me with? It's like, hey, yeah. So I mean, I beat the hell out of the thing. I'm serious. I mean, the poor thing. I mean, every single time it goes on, delete, Bing, block, Bing, throw out, Bing. Oh yeah,
yeah.
I've been playing ping pong ball with that thing.
Well, God, at least you're good and consistent.
Oh yeah, I'm
Not
definitely.
everyone's able to have that attitude. A lot of times they'll just stop doing it or whatever the case is to go, I don't know how to deal with that. So, all right, whatever, that type of thing. I'll just stop my show or whatever I'm doing on Skype and I'm not going to go someplace else
Yeah,
because
we're gonna have to do something with that. I don't know.
just,
Crazy.
and just keep me abreast of what's happening. Let me know what you want to choose because I've got Zoom, or if we want to do the other aspect, we can
Did
check
you
that
put
out.
did you put the Microsoft Teams? I mean, anybody out there, please. We have a caller.
Awesome.
I guess. Bruce, are you on? Hello, Bruce. Hello?
Make Hello.
Bruce, are you on?
Maybe not. Maybe he's just wanting to listen, which is fine. Whatever's convenient and comfortable for people. Because the great thing is I do
He
what I
was, he
love and I
was
love
on.
what
He
I
was
do.
on, and he hung up.
Well, you can't make them. Hey, at least in this case, they're possibly opening up to a potential reach out in connection and communication. But apparently, for whatever reason, he got off of the phone line and just kind of.
Bruce, is that you again? Hello, Bruce.
Hello?
Yeah, I can hear you. Hello, Bruce. Bruce, you.
God bless technology.
Yeah, Bruce, just say something, Bruce.
Possibly, maybe he can't hear us then.
How about Boyce? Boyce? Hello?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay.
Okay, so all right, you can hear me and I can hear you. You have a question? Go ahead.
Do I need to give Jamie, do you need my birth date to tell me something?
I got Jamie right on here.
Yeah, I'm the oddball. I don't do all the other tools. It's whatever works for you, of course. I just read energy, conscious levels of seeds that we plant into the universal soil type of thing. So yeah, is it Bruce? May I call you Bruce, or what would you like to be called?
Boyce, Boyce.
Voice. Oh, good. I like that. My youngest son is Bryce, so it's very interesting that Boyce has this connection. So yes, sir. Hopefully you can hear me okay, Boyce.
Yes, I can. Yes, I can. Do I need to tell you where I'm calling from?
No, sir. You don't have to tell me where you're calling from, but if you have a question or something that I could do an energy read for you, please share it. Let me know how I can be of service to you.
Okay. I'm a Gemini, 622. And why is it that I didn't have many romantic encounters thus far?
Times, depending on your soul's evolution, you just need to connect with people and not necessarily give that heart and soul, so to speak, to another person. I feel like you're a good genuine person knows what you want to hear, is what you need to hear. So it's really nice that if you share something, it's not like, did you mean? It's like, just freaking say it. And if there's an elephant in the room, address it. Don't let it crush the relationship. But I feel that, boys, if you don't have anyone in your life experience now, I do feel like in the next 6 months or sooner, it could certainly be today for all I know. I don't feel that though. But I feel like there is going to be at least a great relationship offered to you. Just because anyone comes in doesn't mean you have to entertain it. But it's also, the good thing is, yeah, notice, I just feel like you're ready to have somebody in your life and not lose yourself to the relationship, but find yourself within it. And what if, just in your own life experience, you've had enough time to realize.
Sometimes you say, okay.
Yeah. What?
Okay.
Go ahead, boys. What were you saying?
Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was waiting for you, boys.
I apologize. I'm just rambling on.
Is there such a thing as being too old for romance?
No.
No. Only if you perceive it.
No,
age, love knows no age. It's eternal.
Yeah, this is Bob Charles speaking here. No, there is no limit to age. There is not. I don't care if anybody tells you that. Smack them one in the head. I don't care. It's like
no one ever told me that. Sometimes I just think that because I was told that being a Gemini, which is 622, they said when I was younger, I attracted the older people, and now I'm older, I'm attracted to younger people. And sometimes they have good sense, sometimes they don't. But you have to remember, we had to make sure they got a brain inside their head.
That's a good thing.
Which is a good point.
Yeah. But you know what I find interesting, if I can share, is I question everything. But also I have seen a lot of times when a person has a particular sign, astrological sign, they tend to have a lot of those qualities and characteristics connected to that genuine and Gemini aspect. And I think you said 622. I'm into that numerology too. Because there was
Gemini with the Cancer.
Yeah, I'm just sharing the fact that 622, I believe you shared. And to me, if you add those numbers up, let's see, 6 plus 4 is 10, equaling 1, which is new beginnings. And in this, notice that you found a balance point that I believe you were sharing. As a young person, you were only getting the older people. Now that you have more years of wisdom and experience, you're getting the younger people. What if it's the evolution of your soul? What if the younger people are now?
On the flip side, then, well, that's okay. But sometimes they understand me, sometimes they don't.
Because just like yes,
Gemini can be. We got two sides, right?
Apparently, yeah. Don't we all? No matter what sign you are, it's not always easy to just be happy or to open to relationships. But also, I think you had enough time in your own way to discover who you truly are, which is the oneness, but also that you have so much to offer others without losing yourself. You find yourself within that relationship. And as you know, you realize that you're 100% a person and complete, and others are 100% incomplete and not 50-50. To me, they never complete, they only complement. So if you're interested, Bruce, Bruce, God, give me another drink. But may I give you just an experience that I do, a technique that I do that seems to work for me? Because, if I share something, I want to do the best I can to be living that truth. And so I call this the bridge of connection. On that quantum level, as a psychic, one, everyone has the ability. It's the gift that few choose and everyone has. But two, within that, the dynamic of, I just feel like you're usually, because I'm going off into a tangent, I'm like, nah, let me just keep it easy. God, for myself, basically. But in this, it's more people are being drawn to you. More people are looking for the years of experience that you've had, that possibly you might be a little bit more mature, as we see it, than a lot of other people.
Well, I try to be. I need to be, because I have a birthday coming up in June, so you don't want to know how old I am, do you?
Well, may I ask then, how old are you? How old will you be?
I forgot. 70.
Apparently old enough.
Did you say,
what?
Did you just say 70?
Yes.
Okay, I got you by 4 years.
But that's okay because, you know, when you're Gemini, they say we don't look our age, although sometimes you might feel it.
There you go. There you go. I don't either. So that makes, and I'm a 5'4". Yeah.
No,
You know, I guess if we were a Leo or Scorpio, we wouldn't be asked this question because they're, you know, sometimes they're dynamic. They had more encounters. They've been playing with more people than we have. And sometimes they're not as spiritual because it's a Gemini is spiritual. Leos and Scorpios are not.
Well, you also realize that our age and when we came from, we're late bloomer. We're late bloomers.
Thank you. And another thing, trying to tell you guys, I had a lot of wonderful people that were supposed to be in my life that passed on. As my teacher said, they're my footsteps. Sometimes I wish I could advise them and bring them back to me, and things would be different because I have more wisdom now, and we could have been together for a while, I guess.
but sometimes it takes those circumstances to get that realization. For me, just for myself with mediumship, because again, I'm very honored and I share the fact that I have a lot of people who come to me that are like, Jamie, I've never been to somebody who does what you do, and my church don't look too kindly on it. My first response is, stuff, congratulations for having the guts to sit here. Second, let's just get a basic meaning of mediumship. To me, a basic meaning is to consciously connect with a being, a spirit, an entity outside of a physical body. And they'll be like, yeah. I'm like, okay, so with that definition, yes, sir.
And spiritual things, whereas when I guess I grew up knowing that. I used to always tell people, remember that spiritual things transcend time and space. They look at you with a crazy grin on their face, or they think it's amusing. But they have to remember what they're laughing at could affect them eventually or benefit them.
Okay, I apologize and thank you for sharing. But is there a dynamic from that statement, from what you were just sharing beautifully?
Well, I guess have a lot to offer, but sometimes they see me and don't wonder because sometimes they don't think I have all my marbles in the circle.
Sure, like any of us, right?
That's a Gemini. We don't. Sometimes we don't need to talk because, as my teacher, sometimes we talk too much, and people can use our wisdom and knowledge against us.
And so you're very much aware of that. So more than likely, you don't talk a bunch to other people in that way, so that you don't have to deal with what you just shared. The good thing is sometimes it takes those connections that, for me, you know, when we choose, because we choose to come to this planet, because there are many other worlds with beings on it. But in this, what if potentially,
I mean, other beings, we are not alone. We've never been alone. No, that's true. That's true.
Yes, sir. And it's that connection that when we begin to find ourselves within life and that life within us and bring it to the surface of consciousness and begin to live life more than just exist or survive, people start asking sometimes, you know, so how are you doing that self-love thing? And because for me, I've realized that maybe it's no longer narcissism, but self-realization, for I cannot give what I do not have. And if I have the effortless love, connection, communication, and empowerment for others, why would I not have those qualities for myself? Because after a while, I was like, oh man, I deserve to be happy as well. I will always do the best I can to help others, to help themselves, because as a healer, we're really never the healer. We're only the facilitator. Each person heals themselves, but you can be a really good facilitator.
That's because, as you know, of yourself, it comes back to you, so you get the karma is still around. And see, some of our humans don't believe in karma, but I'm sure we believe in that because we were taught that. And as they say, it's good to have somebody with a brain inside of their head. And as I said before, some of those people that were in my life that passed away, they had brains inside their head, and then you could trust them. Now it's another story, but like you said, I have enough wisdom to be trustworthy, and you know. That's okay.
So from one experience of the love and connection to others and the trust, you now know what the absence of those beautiful people might be, to go, okay, I'm learning that maybe I'm not supposed to say everything in that way. So don't say everything in that way.
You know, you don't cause any problems, but anyway, you just sometimes you have to remember, I'm talking this time, next time I won't talk. I'll just give them a bits and pieces if necessary, you know.
Cool. And if that's
Okay.
test the water, see, yes, sir. And the good thing is you're trying to work on better communication. You already know you as a being, but it's also that it's kind of nice when we can have a communication with someone else, a conversation, sending, talking, and receiving the share. I apologize. I'm
A lot
rambling on.
of times we got smartphones and dumb people. What do you think about that?
You,
Yeah, you know.
yeah, you
But
are.
that's true.
You
You
are
know, everybody they put all the brains on the phone. No, I don't like doing that. I guess because I'm a baby boomer, maybe I didn't like that because see, we were taught to remember, relate, make notes, and understand, and have critical thinking. That's not evident nowadays.
But guess what? You're very
so,
much aware of those dynamics.
you're
That's
so right.
excellent. Not everyone is, and they kind of
Critical
shut.
thinking. Critical thinking is not a part of this go around in life.
Right.
No,
Just
I
not.
guess they think because they can throw a ball, which makes them a man, or they can hit a ball or something like that. You know, but that's just something you decide to do. Everyone wasn't meant to have throw a ball, or bounce a ball, or hit a ball, or kick a ball.
Yeah, but that's without the phone in your hand.
So what now?
That's without the phone in your hand.
That's true. Thank you. I had to put it down sometime because you have to remember, just like our teacher said, what we remember what's on the printed page, not on the printed screen.
There you go.
Very good. Very nice. And see, the good thing is you
I'm
just
not
have
too old for romance. Okay.
No.
Okay.
Hell,
Then. All right.
Look, man, you're 4 years younger than me.
you young.
Well, how old are you, Jamie?
I'm going to be 60 in a couple of months in July 2nd. So I'm just right after you. I'm a Cancer in that way. So the good thing is to me, it's like, yeah, and it's nothing but a number.
Can I say? Can I say? I don't want to say it. I don't want to be offensive, but I may not say it. You know, you could be my friend, my partner, my good buddy, my cousin, my teacher. Anyway, because that's close by. So that means you were born when I was a teenager.
The thing is, sometimes our life experience will allow us to go back into our past as we perceive it, possibly with a different way of seeing things. And in this capacity, what if just in some ways, some of our life experience with other people, that some of them are in our soul group that we have as comfort and communication? And so what if before we choose to come into this particular planet, some of our loved ones in our soul group are like, oh, in this case, boys, you want to go down and have that experience. You know what? I love you so much. I'm going to go down and I'm going to play that part of the other person just to get you to make sure you got that experience. And you're like, okay. And so what if we're never, I apologize. I'm sitting there talking. Go ahead. What were you saying?
Okay, and also sometimes I guess the ones that have been in our lives and went on to the another higher plane, I guess they're looking down, laughing, and say, "Well, I was there for a while, but I had to go on, and maybe another person similar to that person that passed on." Is that true?
I apologize. That last little bit I did not hear clearly. So if you could possibly say that again, just so I can listen productively.
Okay, if a person has passed on, like in 2017, and I guess we didn't get a chance to make everything possible like it's supposed to be. Well, I guess this person is on another plane or in another realm, so they're looking down at me, smiling, saying that, well, you'll meet somebody similar to me or somebody totally different.
This is, look, that tells me you're listening to your loved ones who have graduated, died as we perceive it. So the good thing is you're already having a communication with those loved ones, in this case, that in their own way, because it's the timing, individualized time we've our experience. Not everyone has the same amount of years here or the same time and time thing. But the good thing is you've been.
Isn't it true that certain signs are destined to live longer than others?
Just from my awareness, no. It doesn't matter what sign you are. There are people who are different signs that get run over by vehicles or get shot or in the service, whatever the case is.
Okay, but just like I told you about Leo, sometimes Leo gets too little. They can be a little bit talking too much. No, be a little bit vicious with their words, and then Scorpio like to brag about that little sexual prowess. And between Leo and Scorpio, they can be something. And then don't forget, Pisces is mysterious. They're interesting, but they won't tell you something. It had to come through somebody else when they disappear from you.
You seem to have a pretty good awareness of the different signs and their characteristics that they might have with those. So you're not ignorant. It's not like you don't understand. But now it's time to bring people in.
So what now?
Maybe now it's time to bring people in with your wisdom of years experience, not that you know better or know more than everyone, but your own life experience that you seem to be pretty well versed with the astrological aspects. Because for me, I always say, what if just one aspect of us choosing to come into this planet is literally by the stars? Wow, something to think about. But the good thing is you're ready for a relationship. You just may not have the person at the moment. And it sounds like your knowledge of the different signs, you seem to have a lot of insight about personalities, characteristics, and how they perceive things. So you're not ignorant, but it's also
we were all three of us. We were born, but we can certain people we can tune in if we meet them. We want to get to know them, put them in close or not, because some people are foolish and crazy and bossy and bitchy and moronic. So we can tell, push that one away, pull that one in. Isn't that right?
So if that is the case and you're aware of those qualities, doesn't mean you have to vibe with them. You'll feel that energy go, oh, they must be a Taurus, or, unless you ask them. But it's that kind of connection that you'll be able to understand.
That's true, because some people want to pull in and keep for the next 100 years. Some people say, no, you're foolish and crazy and loud and bossy, and I can't take that.
So you're not going to do it. That's the point.
Okay,
Again, qualities and characteristics.
Let me give you this point. Okay, I was once told that I get along better with foreigners more so than Americans. Is that true?
Well, and notice that's how you're perceiving it. So what happens? You seem to get along with people from out of the country in other countries around the world.
Well, see, Europeans are different than some other people around. Europeans are what you call quite brainy. Because we don't deal with no dummy or somebody that can't read and write or don't know anything. I'm not saying to put yourself anybody down, but yet still, when you reach high, not low.
To live our own truth, whatever it might be, that others can see those, and if they like those qualities, they'll entrain themselves to be up to that, either good communication, love, respect, appreciation, understanding, whatever the case is. Because it sounds like as you're sharing that.
Again, I like you said, love, respect, understand, communicate. And communication is an important thing. You may have arguments, but see, arguments it doesn't mean that you're going to shoot me and I'm going to stab you. No, we're just having a disagreement, and we have just come to a good ending, a good medium. And like the communication is very important.
But you have an awareness potentially of who you're dealing with, and not everyone stays in our life for the entire life. Some come in and leave very quickly. What if just a little bit of that sometimes?
You may report, but sometimes just like Lois and my so-called my co-worker, always like my sons, other people, just like AT, they meant a lot to me, and I could talk to them about anything. Nowadays you can't talk to people about anything because they don't understand a lot of things, a lot of matters, whether they're personal or et cetera, et cetera.
And so, not to open up to those lovely people who may not be able to handle it. To me, it's very simple.
That means, you don't open up true confession to a fool, because a fool doesn't know how to is reading on the third grade level.
Right. And how would you know that person is a fool?
Well, sometimes they boast about their little erotic activities, and that's it. Like the man, you're supposed to have it.
And it's yeah.
And wait a minute. Hold on a minute, boys. You got to remember now one thing. We may be older, but we're still learning. And you learn from other people. And sometimes that person that you really, really want to bonk in the head once in a while is probably the person that if you just got told to step back a little bit, let's talk about that again. Sometimes it's good to put the brakes on a conversation like that, because otherwise I'm with you. I mean, there are people out there that are, forget about it. They're out there somewhere. But at the same time, those people wouldn't be if you grounded them. In other words, you tell them, hey, you know what? Explain it a little different because I didn't get you the first time. And all of a sudden they slow down and they get it straight, because they know they didn't get it straight the first time.
That's right. Okay. I see what you're saying. Make sure that's good, But like you said, when we were growing up, most people had good sense.
Of course.
And a brain inside the head, and understanding, and wisdom, and trust.
Yep.
And now, everybody wants to be with the phone in the hand acting stupid because they can have 15 orgasms in one day and can't write the name.
You're so right.
I make the point, might be true, but that little activity that you have won't last forever. And that doesn't make you, because you were built to have that one day, being a Leo or Scorpio or maybe a Pisces, but there are other people that don't have that.
Just possibly, there's a potential that.
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
Yes, sir. What if there's a potential that this is not the only life you have lived on this particular planet? What if possibly you've had a few other lifetimes where you were born at different times of the year?
I had another lifetime, and I was a mystical person. Should I say what I was?
Yeah, go ahead.
They said I was a white witch in my other life.
Who?
So that means I was doing good magic, helping people, making things come true, solving situations. But I guess no one messed with me because I didn't have 10 children and 5 spouses.
You're talking like a white witch.
well, see, people misunderstand that. We got white magic and black magic. White magic is supposed to help everyone around. Black magic causes all kind of problems because we got some bully or some dummy wanted to do some harm to us, and we had to put up a barrier.
Hey, let me ask you a quick question. Just a quick one. This is on the outside of our conversation. Are you from Georgia?
Yes.
Boom.
Why did you say that out of 50 states, Bob?
Huh?
Why did you say that out of all the states that we have in this country?
Because I played, I was, by the way, boys, I was a lead singer in a very big band, and I played every single state in the United States.
Well, I scribbled some lyrics, but no one ever sang because I sent them to Michael. He was just saying they didn't understand them. I scribbled some lyrics. I wrote one lyric in French because French is my favorite language, although I'm so rusty with it now.
There you go.
Being a Gemini, this has been a Gemini, we're the messenger of the gods.
Bam.
We're very intellectual, and we get along with, music and reading and all kind of stuff like that, Gemini is a very intelligent sign. I'm not bragging because I never did brag. But anyway, Gemini is a very interesting sign of the zodiac.
But what you actually want to do is you want to, as I said, you want to just like lay back a little bit and let other people talk. And if they go too far, just tell them, hey, listen, explain that to me a different way.
Yeah.
I like when you put that on. I like it. That's because they figure that, they figure that I'm supposed to be the teacher and they're supposed to be the athlete, and the athlete's supposed to be, just like nowadays, they seem to think that blue-collar people are supposed to be the top of the class and we're supposed to sit down because we're intellectual. Have you noticed that?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Are you kidding me? It's like
nowadays it seems like that, there's a shift in having brain cells that function correctly.
A lot of people that don't. Let's face it. Every person that walks on 2 legs is different. All of us are different. However, there comes a.
I see your point, but see, it's like some difference we can tolerate and cope with. Some difference we don't want to come in the front door and then don't sit at the dinner table.
So you don't. Don't open the door.
Everybody comes to the door, you don't let them in. Everybody says, unless you don't sit down. When you know who to say yes to, who to say not yes to, and who to say maybe,
But again, you seem to have an understanding of where that person might be and how they are. And so the great thing is just like Bob was sharing, if they're not open to it, why keep saying it? You're just going to frustrate yourself, to me. So It's in that connection to go, yeah, just for myself, I'm into that mental thought pattern and accepting I create future memories type of thing. And in that, I acknowledge that in one of those, only positive, loving, happy people that are soul searching for themselves, to me, will come into my life experience in any way that I can interact with them. And if they need a different perspective, I'll do the best I can to give them a different perspective, because sometimes we just need to hear something a little differently to go, you know, I've been hearing that crap 1,000 times, but click, that's the first time I kind of see it that way. And my thing is good, and question everything and let me know how it goes. And they usually come back going, I did it. And I'm like, freaking A, congratulations. And what else do you want to do? Because if the approach ain't broke, don't fix it. And a lot of people are, okay, and my thing is again, you're very much aware of the qualities and characteristics, but always notice what was just happening a few moments ago. And that was you were sharing possibly a past life experience, yet look at the emotional connection that you had to that. And you're not doing it at the moment. You're just recalling that particular awareness. And so the good thing is sounds like you're starting to find more of yourself in life and that life within you. And in this, sometimes it takes us a while, 70 years, which is congratulations and happy early birthday. But it's also that if we can give us.
I don't keep on my birthday because, you know, it's sort of, there's something to the psyche, just like, oh, you know, sometimes you can't tell them. I just say, I'm 65 and holding.
That sounds like somebody I know.
Okay.
Yeah.
And Bob, you just said, "Am I from Georgia?" Why did you ask that question? Do I sound a little?
You sound like somebody. You sound like some people that I know in Georgia.
Okay.
All right, wait a minute. It's the talking. It's the slower on some of the some of the words that you say in that they're a little slower than you would up north. I mean, I come from New Jersey, New York, but I've been in every state.
Oh,
and I've talked.
Okay, well that means
that
means that you guys were. I'm gonna say this to sound crazy. Most people from the north they were happy about education and not gestation.
Bingo. And now I let's face it, I'm down many years in that radio business, but I'm in Florida. So therefore,
that's an interesting place too.
Yeah.
Now,
so
them, I guess they just have a good time and they don't care about gestation or education.
So therefore, I kind of sort of like picked out where the actual voice and the words and everything else that come from. I was going to say Louisiana, but it's not Louisiana. It's over further.
Okay, I see. But Jimmy made a good statement. He said sometimes they come in out your life to give you information and whatnot, but sometimes they were so right and okay, and it made it think you want to hold on to them as long as you could. Because when they passed on, it was a heartbreaking experience, and we still talk to them. So I guess on the other plane they hear us when we speak.
That makes sense. That'll work, right?
A lot of times, yeah, that's right. Because my best friend, Mr. Wilson, passed over in 1994 and all like that. But sometimes we just want, just like somebody once said, we won't have one question. I would tell them, "Why did you leave me?" One question I would tell Lois, I said, "Why did you leave me? Just be around, hey." But as you said, there will be some others coming to fore. But the footsteps that they made are everlasting. They are.
That's the point, is giving yourself the opportunity to get any knowledge, experience that you have. So when you bring these people in, you have an idea of who they are as a person in this case. And in a conversation, if they're open for things, then you'll be able to go down that avenue. If not, please don't say anything. Because
like somebody told me, they said, if it's many fish in the sea. If you miss fish today, you get one tomorrow because the cabinet is not empty, neither the refrigerator empty. So you might miss something, but your chance is not gone forever.
There you go.
Okay.
There you go. That'll work.
Remember that.
That'll work.
When I told you about me getting to know foreigners more. Now, some foreigners look down their nose at America.
Yeah.
And sometimes you have to be with certain foreigners who you're dealing with.
So what it sounds like? That sounds like just like 25% of the people that are walking around right now out there, they're exactly like they're somewhere. I mean, let's face it, cell phones and smartphones, they're not so smart anyway. But
I
smartphones.
shouldn't have said that. I apologize for saying that statement. Forgive me.
No. Don't say that. Hey, listen. It's that's part of the conversation. Don't worry about it. But the idea of the thing is that you're on the right channel. You know, it may be the wrong TV, but you're on the right channel.
I'm not telling them just like right channel but wrong TV, okay, and then right other TV, okay.
Yeah, you're okay, definitely. Well, come on, man. You got more upstairs than most of the people that call in all the time, and they always say, "Well, what am I going to do next week?"
That's like to tell you, Jamie, you well, we had to, because we come from the generation that we sometimes we had one TV and house, things branch out. We had to read and write and understand because there were teachers in the family and counselors and everybody else. So it wasn't like, oh, I can play a ball, I'm supposed to be Mr. So-and-so, or I can do this and I'm Miss So-and-so. Okay, what else can you do outside of your physical activities?
You know, you got to realize that when you say that from where we came from, and that the screen on the TV was 9 inches long, 9 inches wide. The cabinet, the
14-inch TV and a 19-inch TV.
Bingo.
We had the floor model, then we branched up on that.
Yeah, the cabinet that the 9-inch screen was in was bigger than my kitchen table.
Thank you. And then some of it, just like you said, the 24-inch and 27-inch long time ago, like back then with 90s and whatnot.
There you go.
Those cabinets were just like made out of solid wood, and they're still good. They're still good furniture pieces to have around. You know.
Damn, yeah.
So even though with the technology, there are different aspects moving from the wood into plastic or whatever the case is, and in that, it seems like you're still talking about the viewing screen, the TV. What if your mind is the viewing screen?
Smaller now? They got the 65 is just like huge because I'm in an apartment and that would cover the whole wall. I don't want a 65-inch. Maybe my sister, somebody else could have that, but that's a lot of TV on the wall.
All right.
Now,
So you don't like it, so you're not going to get it. Very simple. And what do you like? Okay, more than likely you like other particular TV or how it looks or how it's built or whatever the case is. So you're not going to go for one of the newer ones, apparently with the bigger screens. You have more comfort with the old school as we perceive it in a way that, you know what? You're giving yourself permission to make those choices. The TVs of themselves are just a mechanism.
That's right. That's right.
You know, so the good thing is you have an awareness of who you're dealing with and sometimes how to deal with them. Because for myself, if they're not open for it, I'm not going to say anything. Otherwise, it would be kind of like beautiful.
Because a lot of times you had to be quiet. What they say, still tongue carries a wise head. You remember the old statement, Bob?
Which one?
Still tongue carries a wise head.
Oh yeah, but that's as old as we are.
Okay. So that's an old statement.
But I'm saying though, you say that to somebody today, and that they'll look at you and say what?
What did you say?
That's
but you see, they were born and see, they were born, I guess, between 19 like the millennials, and they know everything because they put all the business on the phone. But that's okay for them.
Yeah, sure.
But absolutely. When I told them, I said, does that mean I'm supposed to be a dummy because I know this? And everybody get quiet and look at one another. And my aunt would say, it goes like this: I have forgotten more than you guys will ever know. Period.
So you have that awareness.
It makes sense.
Right. You don't have to push it on people, but you can share it if they're open.
What else?
Like you don't tell them, okay, saying you can learn this, you want to, not be going to something else. Okay, I see. Okay.
All right. What else?
I think
I was just gonna say that. You got anything else on your mind?
No, you gave me a good statement about age and romance and all that. But anyway, there's still some quality people around. We just have to be, like I said, find out if they're gonna walk the same way with me or not, and then go somewhere else.
Oh, there you go.
You know, everyone has free choice, and just because they can bounce the ball or do whatever, there's other people around that they don't care about that. That's just a particular activity, and that's the only activity. Okay, I see what you're saying.
If it doesn't really matter, then you'll more than likely choose the activities that vibe for you. You're not going to do something that doesn't feel right, more than likely. It's that kind of entertainment aspect that it's more of a positive, productive experience and a less destructive. And you seem to have,
You know, but you're very intuitive. I like that. You're very, but okay, I should meet somebody like you.
well,
There you
and
go.
what, yeah, thanks. But what if just in this way you are that old soul? I think you were sharing that when you were young, you were getting the older people. And now that you're older, you're getting the younger people. Kind of sounds like there's some kind of a balance thing there. What a coincidence.
So
How lucky.
the younger or older ones. I said myself, but most people say when you're my age, you don't look anymore. You say, well, I'm not looking. You pass by. But sometimes I had a couple of head turners, just like I had a head turner today. And sometimes you wonder, now where did you come from?
You're
Some people have that head. Some people have their head turning quality, if you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Boys. Boys. Let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. You want to talk about looking like? All right. People call me an alien because I don't
Why
act.
do they call you that?
Yeah, I don't act or look my age at all. Period.
Well, you know what? That means they just like they just say you were blessed with two. Okay, you must be blessed with two qualities, and you can you don't age as fast. Maybe because you didn't smoke everything, you didn't play with everything, you didn't do everything, so therefore you don't have all those 50 million wrinkles in your face.
No. The idea of the whole thing is you're only as old as you think you are.
But when my teacher once told me, she said nothing gets old but cheese.
That's
Make sense?
she was so right.
Yeah.
Nothing gets old but cheese.
And I swear to God, I am not green around the edges.
I didn't say that. I didn't say that. No. I didn't say that.
Now, I'm not green around the edges. But
Well, anyway,
the idea of the thing is that to open. First of all, the first thing you have to do, even when you're our age, you have to open your heart to the world, not just to one person, not just to what you're doing, not just to what like you're talking on the phone right now. You're opening your heart to us right now. I can feel it from here. The idea of the thing is that the thing is, all you have to do is just open yourself up to all the possibilities. You never know. There may be somebody that you were going to marry in a couple of years that's going to be your age. Not younger.
You've got me speechless now. I would think about that. Okay.
See, there you go. I'm telling you, you got it. I can only tell you that I mean, I hang out with a person right now that's 4 years older than me. Yet she acts 4 years younger than me. Go figure that one out.
Okay.
But I mean, it doesn't. It doesn't matter.
Sometimes you have to put your head and not your heart, and be sensible and wise and be practical.
Let your heart lead your mind around.
Lead
with your heart. Don't lead with your head. Because when you lead with your head, you wind up sticking your foot in your mouth, and it doesn't work. It just don't fit. So therefore, let your heart do the talking, not your brain.
Thank you, sister. Also, the teachers had taught me this. He taught me this. He said, remember that knowledge is power, ignorance is evil.
Bingo. Smart lady.
So what now?
Smart.
Say it again now?
Smart idea. Somebody's got the right idea.
Okay, I see what you're saying. But have to be like I said, be practical. Open up my heart and open up my self to good qualities, but make sure that person can meet me halfway.
Sometimes
don't accept anything like I was telling you earlier in the conversation. I said everybody comes to the front door. We don't open the door. Everybody wants to sit down at the table. No, we don't sit here. Move.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, if it don't work, it don't work.
Because we don't waste our time on nothing. I enjoy being a teacher, but sometimes being a teacher, they don't understand because they don't have our background. But that's okay too. They came on a different time than we did.
There you go.
Okay.
All right. Listen, we are going to step out of here. And
I'm glad I got your email today, and thank you. And I may have to send Jamie a notation about giving me a reading of some other stuff. I might put some other details in there, but you might laugh at me or whatnot.
No way.
I'll have to think about that.
Not at all.
Wait,
believe me, no one.
Do you have if you want to? No, you should. Send me.
I got your information.
Send me.
What now?
Send me an email to Bob Charles Show Bob, CHARLES show at
Okay.
live.com.
Okay, Bob. I think I got you in my contact, Bob.
Well, there you go.
Show,
At
live.
live.live.com. And I will send you a copy of this audio part of the show. And then this way here, you get all the information, you get everything, you know who to call, where to go, the websites to go on. It's all in the same email.
And you're not making.
Go ahead, Jimmy.
You're not making Bob share this. He's doing it because he cares. Hey, you know what? He's giving you information that if you choose not to, you don't have to. But he's also giving you an energy of connection to go, hey, just email me if you would, and let's see where we can go from here. Because Bob has a good connection to a lot of people, and he might be able to guide you.
One more question for you guys. Okay, since our president, it's difficult now for people to start businesses, and is that correct? Because I guess the financial arena is not as good as it has been, and the business area is not as good as it has been. Is that true?
You're talking. It's tough to get a relationship going. Is that what you were asking?
No, I was talking about another aspect. I was talking about business, our business sector going on at this time. With the economy and all of this.
I think things are going to get better. They got to get better. There's no two ways about it. I mean, let's face it. It went down so low. There's only one way to go, up. So eventually,
that's right. Because it always hadn't been that way, and I guess a lot of people wanted who to be in office because they said it would help their economic standing, i.e. some other races of people and some people that come from south of the border, if you know what I mean.
I know I know more than what you do. I'm there. Believe me.
He knows what you mean.
They said those groups of people wanted who in office to flip the script, but he flipped the script and tore up the whole book and threw it in the trash can, didn't he?
You know what you got to do in that. Well, we're talking about things like this since we got to go. There's a whoa, don't move for a second. Let me tell you, there's another show and that on, and if you keep watching like the Facebook and things like that, I'll send you the places in that to go and look. Things like Talk Now, that's where I invite people to come in on anything they want to. They can come in on the phone, they can come in on Zoom, they can come in as a group, they can come in any way they want to. So that people like yourself get to talk with other people who may have the same problems in life or the same things they want to do or the same things that they feel they could do. All of these things that are on a show like that. Talk Now means everybody comes in and talks now.
I have another question for you.
Go ahead.
What do you think about Instagram? Is that worth anything, or is that a joke?
Yeah, I don't know about that. I don't know. It's as bad as what's up.
Well, I never could get, and then TikTok I never could get to because I was talking to my good friend about it, Jacqueline, and I could never sign in because the password didn't work right. So I'm on Instagram and LinkedIn. And Instagram, LinkedIn, what's the other one? Google and all of that.
Well, you got Google.
Others? No.
Yeah, you got Google Chat.
WhatsApp and all that. I don't do that. Facebook is okay too, but that's started getting old. But it's still because I found you sent me the information from Facebook. I like Facebook.
There you go. I mean, when I send them out, I blast them things out. They go to about 2,000 people.
Oh, okay. I see. But how's the weather in Florida?
For right now?
Yes.
It's about 91.
We had a little rain today. It was like this morning was like 60. Last week it was like 45 in the morning, and high was like 60. So it can be up and down. But I guess it'll get warmer thereafter because the pollen season. We have pollen in Georgia, because of, I guess, the ozone level and whatnot. The pollen level should be gone by the end of the month.
Actually, I lied. It's 86. It's 86.
Your 86 is different than our 86. So ours would be humid 86. Yours may be a dry 86 in Florida. I don't know. I've never been in Florida, not yet.
All the lawns are turning.
Back in California.
All the lawns are turning brown.
I love California.
Well, there you go. I will talk. Talk to you. Make sure you send that email.
Okay, man.
Boyce, thank you for calling in. A pleasure to talk with you.
Bye-bye.
You be good. Bless,
Okay.
man.
Bye-bye.
Bless, man.
All right.
Meanwhile, back at the ranch, we are going to go out of here. And you know what? I'll tell you something. It's the other show and that for Talk Now and that. I just have to I have to get a date and that I can do it or some kind of time that the people can do that because I want a show to be one that everybody gets to say something. There could even be an argument on there. I mean, I'm not saying it's going to be a media kind of a thing and that, but it's somewhere where people can put their feelings right on the plate in front of everyone else and be able to maybe come up with some kind of a solution that they never thought about because it came out of somebody else's head.
That's along the lines of what I was saying is you can talk with that, but sometimes we just need a different way of seeing things. From that different perspective that I've heard that crap 1,000 times, click, that's kind of the first time I get it that way.
Uh-huh.
Okay. And my thing is one, question everything. Two, put it to the test. You get an end result, it now gets real. Firsthand, not secondhand.
Oh, it's
First
true.
is, yeah, I don't understand it. I just experienced it. Yep, exactly. And you won't always understand, but it sounds like Boyce was sharing the fact he seems to have a pretty good awareness of a lot of people that he doesn't want in his life. And he's very much aware of that, which is good. However, and it sounds like semantics playing on words, but it's not. For me, the challenge becomes you're very much aware of what you don't want. In this case, the oddballs who may not be able to get it. Two, you may not realize that you're sending a signal out to get those oddball people. Even though you don't want them, you're still on that channel of that kind of a person or communication. You change your thought pattern first to me, then you change the interaction and the reactions with other people. Because when you can feel their energy, you'll know instantly. And that's why I share for me that personal magnetism. When you first meet someone, see like, man, I just love your energy. I don't want to get to know you. They don't have to say a word yet. You feel their energy. What that is to me is that personal magnetism is what we think about and our attention to those thoughts that creates vibrations of energy. And some people have a nice, good, clean energy. Others are like, how's it possible to have a dirty, greasy energy? Yeah, but that's the channel they're on. Know what they're tuned into so that we can communicate and talk with them, not just to them. Because most of us are used to being talked to rather than talked with.
It sounds like what I said. Right channel, wrong TV.
That's the point. What if it's that mind sight, that third eye window of our mind that is giving you, hey, if you like the old school and it's much better, you'll stay in old school and it works for you. Otherwise, you might adapt to the more recent, tools and techniques, in this case, the bigger screen TVs and that. A lot of times with that cell phone, it's a very interesting dynamic because they've gotten a lot of people to become dependent and want to go into those computer energies. And I shared the fact that for me, because it gets you in your own world, there was a time where they were having on GPS, I think it was whatever the game was, you go to certain locations and, you get the information type of thing. Well, I was up at a store, and in this case, there was about 50 something people around. Nobody was talking with anybody at all. It was
Right.
a weird freaking, they were just on their phones doing theirs.
Yep.
And then, there's been, I don't know the photographer's name. I apologize for my ignorance. But in this, there was a lot of pictures and it was a gentleman in this case, that had taken pictures of people and, outside doing whatever, and they were on their cell phones. And in those pictures, he deleted the cell phones. You saw were people looking down, not even having a conversation. And so just for myself, that online expression and experience is what a lot of people want to stay with, because then a lot of times they can observe those experiences without having to go through them.
I told you something that'd be about 2 or 3 years ago. And that Diane and I went out to dinner. No, it was before we were here. We were still in Charleston at the time. When we were there, we went out to dinner, and of course, there's like it's like Thanksgiving, so like people go there. You got a big table, you got a lot of people at the table, one of these kind of things. And I did say this on the show, and if I find the show, I'll go and look back. There was a whole these people who were on cell phones, and the guy at one end of the table text the guy at the other end of the table to pass something down the table. That's when I got a little crazy, and I said, "Why don't you just get up and say, would you please pass me this whatever?"
Forget
So
it yourself. Right.
I said it right there in the thing, and all the people dropped their phones, and they were good, almost good for the
Look,
rest
as
of
a
that.
reaction to that experience that you had, apparently other people had their own way of seeing things. Go, oh, click, I don't think I'm going to work with that at the moment. So, and the good thing is you're very much aware of some of the dynamics of what's going on. And in this, I'm right there with you. If they're right there in front of you, freaking talk with them. Don't just text. Because for my boys, a lot of the kids they stand in front of each other texting. I'm like, man, for my boys, I said, with that, if they're standing in front of you, you talk with them, not just to them.
To them,
And
right.
in this, right, don't bring out that phone unless you're going to make a phone call or check something out. And they're like, oh, okay. So it was really cool because I'm only a dad. I'm just a parent. That's it. But giving them some of the insight and a different way of experiencing, and from those experiences to see things, sometimes they get a different perspective. Like, okay, it's not just dad talking and talking. He's got what he perceives as information that maybe can help me. So he's not trying to negate me. He's trying to integrate. Right. And so the cool thing is as they've grown into their own life experiences, they don't sit there on the cell phones. They'll talk just like this, because on average, it becomes the presentation. A lot of times persons will, even if they're not on it and they're carrying that cell phone, instantly the person who's having a conversation feels like they're split between the conversation and the phone that they connect. Yeah, exactly. So just for me, if I'm talking with somebody, I don't get on that phone unless I need to, is the point. I want to have a genuine conversation. If I could see you, frickin' A, that's great, because I know that you're right there and you're not going to miss a lot of stuff, because all I can do is share. It doesn't mean you have to accept anything, but like I said, sometimes from a different way of sharing information, you might get a different vantage point of seeing it that way.
That'll work. That works all the time. But the idea of the thing is people have to also react to what you're saying. I mean, it's like, I'm serious. I mean, if you take a phone away from somebody, that's like putting like I don't know. It'd be like a psycho, thing or something. I'm serious. All you hear in the background is eat, eat. In fact, you hear like this. Eat, 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 eat. But I'm serious. I mean, that's the way you're going to hear it, and it's crazy because like people are like, it's like they're handcuffed to their phones and things. The idea is AI is going too far. It really,
that's
really, the point. And it's going to go way further.
It's going to continue to go further. Again, it doesn't have to, but I will just say already people are starting to pick up to go, AI is coming on pretty strong. Seems to be able to put these things together in a matter of seconds or minutes. And it took me days or months or years to do this. So people will begin to trust that AI, in this case, artificial intelligence, that only builds upon itself without emotional aspects connected to it. Because if you're a human, more than likely you have some kind of an emotional connection or reaction to the person's circumstance experience. And so within this,
what we do in this house is we have used, or Diane doesn't use, but I use AI once in a while to get a different perspective. That's all I use it for. But everything that I do, that I write, and that it's mine. It's not theirs. It's not on an AI. The AI didn't write it. He probably couldn't write it like I did anyway. But the idea is there's the humanistic part that's in it that AI doesn't have. I don't know whether you've listened to any of this stuff. It's cold. It really is. It's cold stuff.
It's information.
Yeah,
right?
nothing but like a premier copy of Google.
And sometimes if they're saying it, it must be real. I'm like, really? Well, maybe question things, because not all the time do they talk with the knowledge of what they're sharing. Sometimes it's just trying to throw those empty words out to maybe get you to see certain ways or their way or whatever the case is. And in this, that the technology is actually the very thing that's bringing the world together, is separating us. Because a little while for that COVID thing, I'm not a doctor or scientist, but they were saying you must stay home. And so a lot of people started going online to keep their attention or to just, whatever the case is. And so it really amplified that. So when things kind of settled down, they were still amped up on the computers or the cell phones or whatever the case is.
There was more than one right reason going on with that outbreak. There was more things. There's many, many more things. I mean, let's face it. How many people that are internally hooked to technology because they didn't have anything else to do?
That's
They
the
couldn't go
point.
out play. They couldn't go here. They couldn't go there. They couldn't walk into there. Let's face it. I mean, a guy said the other day on the news, and I agree with him. He says, he said, we were asses. He said, we had to walk on stuck footprint on the floor so that we were 6 feet behind somebody. And he said, how many people that walked 6 feet behind another person actually got COVID?
Just from my awareness, the powers that be, so to speak, the wealthy and that kind of stuff, have a good awareness of not only on a conscious level, but a subconscious level of humans in this case.
Yeah.
Because for a while, right, with that COVID, you must stay 6 feet apart. It's like, really, exactly 6 feet, is it really? And there's been something else known for many years to be 6 feet under. So people in the back of their, exactly, I didn't think of it that way, but that fear creeps up into their subconscious even stronger, so that consciously they begin to function from that subconscious energy. And like I said, again, I'm sure there's nothing there. Yeah, there is. And it goes way beyond that. But again, what little I'm aware of is like, holy cow, most of the world has no idea, or they don't want to know, which is certainly, if that works for you, great.
Yeah, they're not with it. They're not with it.
Well, and that's the point, not to say things to that particular person or say them that particular way, because they're not going to get it. So for me, I've learned that if they're open, I'll share a little bit at a time and see what their response is. If they're closed, I'm not going to even try to open that door, because they'll just be fighting themselves and you. This is the way I think. This is the way I've done it. Okay, well, if that works for you, great.
Oh, duh.
Sometimes, being open to possibly experience or see or feel something a little differently will get you to realize that it all becomes the empowerment of your own choice of action and reactions with those people, experiences, dynamics. Because some things make people happy, some things don't. Really, we're all in a human form in this case, but in that, they got you to live a lot of times on the web. Because for a while there, they were doing home deliveries. It was freaking weird in a way, because during that, I took my lovely wife out and we were in this Chinese food restaurant and there was nobody there, yet their people were freaking busy. They were all delivering from home and to homes.
Right.
My thing is right. That was the point, is people became more secluded and were able to bring the two, in this case, people brought those tools to go, hey, if you need something, you can't get out, well, we can bring it to you.
You know what got big? DoorDash and Uber food. Oh yeah.
Isn't it weird? What a coincidence. What if just sometimes that becomes the catalyst of consciousness? Sometimes it takes those circumstances, in this case, the COVID thing, that people weren't allowed to go out. And so they brought the outside world to a certain extent with their needs, in this case, food. So what did they do? They began to trust and open up more consistently, more than likely, to that particular restaurant, store, whatever the case is. And now that it's over, still people, a lot of them are online. They don't want to get off.
We have because of what I do in it in the morning, and I go out of my way that sometimes to test things. Like DoorDash is one of them. Well, it turns out this woman wanted one, I think it was a 12-inch pizza. I forget whether it was 10 or 12, but I think it was 12. Anyway, the place that the pizza, that 12-inch pizza had to go, was 25 minutes away. So, okay, you go 25 minutes. That's one way, 25 minutes. So you go to the 25 minutes and you get to the place and you have to leave the pizza outside, not inside. You have to leave it on,
don't touch it
or whatever. Yeah. I mean, if somebody would have one that was like put out a chair, I told anybody to do it. I just knock on the door. Don't put it on the ground, because they said that the ants will like it better than she will, faster. if they don't get to the door in time. So I said, not going to, doesn't
Yep,
matter.
exactly.
Leave a note on the door, leave it on the floor. If they leave a note that says leave it on the floor, it's their fault. So, oops. But anyway, but the idea of the thing is that they go all that way for that thing. They're paid about $2 to $2.50 net for going to something like that. And then they go there and they get a $2 tip. So, okay, you just went 25 minutes in one direction, 25 minutes in the other direction. Spend how much on gas? It's not $2. And you do all that kind of thing. I mean, really, people have to start thinking if they want to use this service, they have to think about where they're delivering or getting a delivery from, or are they taking care or taking advantage of a service? And the service don't have enough brains to say, if you order from here to here, it's out of that area for deliveries, from that area. It's out of the area. You have to deliver, get one from like 10 minutes away from your house or something, not 25 minutes away from your house, unless you want to pay a travel charge. And a travel charge would be like $10 to go that extra way.
A number of people would pay that $10 to have it delivered.
Yeah, but still, if it was $10, you wouldn't mind delivering it.
And that's the point. Just a little bit, it moved from the paper cash to on the computer with a card. You don't trade anything. It's just that matter of fact technology. Yeah. Good. Does that work? Perfect.
I've seen it. I've seen it so many times that in the last 2 months, and that I've seen it. Somebody will order one little thing from one, like they go on, DoorDash has its own website. So you go on the website and you pick out whatever you want to do, whatever you want something from. And it doesn't tell you where that place is. It's just that place is great. The menu's really good. The food's really, really good. Bing, I want that one there and I want this stuff. Meanwhile, that place is 25 minutes away from your house. But you don't know that. Somebody's going to bring it to you. But you know that. But then they get there. Oh, you deliver it. Here's $2. And it's like, I'm serious. Because of the pizza business that I do in the morning, I see these people walking in and out all the time. And I hear all the stories. So, I mean, it's like, woo, that should be interesting, if you're going to go that far.
Yeah. And do you have the guts to do that? Good thing is you're open to listen to people to go, oh, if they're talking about that, they may not want it. So I'm not going to push them in that way. Right.
And there is also a thing on there, and that, which I'll tell you in another conversation, that doesn't allow you to not take a job.
Wow.
Or it's against you.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Because you declined.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep.
So I don't know.
You got this.
I'll tell you some stuff in there that I learned. Woo!
I bet. Good. I'm open. That.
We were both in the restaurant business.
Yep.
And when we're together, we know. I mean, let's face it. People want what they want. They want it when they want it. They want it how they want it. They want it now. One of those kind of things. That's just the way it is. That's the business. And now that COVID came out and they have all these delivery services and everything going on, now people are like, oh wow, I only have to pay. Well, all pay $5.99 to like get something delivered. That's how you pay it. And then on top of that, you put on whatever the tip is or whatever. I'm serious. I mean, I see people for I guess an $8 pizza. Yeah, about an $8 pizza or something. They pay $20 to have it delivered.
Seems to be worth it to them in order to not have to get in their vehicle, go to whatever location it is, pick up the food, and then bring it home. So what would they do as we perceive it? Someone who works for that restaurant or has connections to it in this case. You know what? I can just put my list of what I'm looking for and they'll bring it to me. Even though I don't know where they're coming from, even if it's 25 minutes, whatever the extra charge is, that way it saves me time and energy and all that kind of stuff.
A guy told me the story that he was doing for that 25-minute thing, and the customer that on the they have like comments and everything else on these internet things, and the customer had put down, my order was late. Don't take into consideration of traffic, the car in front of you, the light that's red, the people that don't move because they're texting. So you got 20 cars going to a red light, 3 cars get through. You're number 4, you lose.
Yeah.
10 cars could have went through, but the rest of them were looking at their text.
And they're looking at you like, oh, you lovely person.
Yeah, well,
Yes.
I said a little more than that, but that's okay. Anyway, let me get us out of here. And you know what? I tell you something. Anybody who's listening to this, I want to tell you, you can you can write to jamieclark.net.
Yep.
Get on that website if you want to write to him, or you have any questions in there from him, or anything. Right on there, he'll write back to you. If you want anything from me, just write to Bob Charles Show at live.com. Again, Bob Charles Show at live.com. Or you can leave a voice message. We got this really, really great thing. It's called, well, forget about what it's called, but it works. You write to 863-222-4199. When you get on there, you can send a text or leave a voice message. As long as you don't say you hate my socks, you're fine. And meanwhile, I have to know what the heck.
Always good, brother.
Oh, yeah. And anybody else wants anything from anywhere, just go ahead and give it to us, because we'll take it. There's no two ways about it. You're on Pyramid One World Radio, WKIT. Have a good night. We'll see you. God bless y'all. Bob Charles.